So you want to make a sale. So today we're going to talk about everything sales. Sales in business is actually kind of the most important thing that you got, because if you can't make a sale, you don't really have a business. You just got a cool hobby you're interested in doing, and no one else is really interested in doing it. So first off, let me just kind of get this out of the way. If you're not selling something that is like good for people or humanity in some way, shape, and form, then it's a scam, and I don't want you to use any of this because you're not helping people out. So please don't sell scams. Please don't sell anything that people don't actually benefit from in some way, shape, or form. First thing about sales, nobody cares about how cool you are or like what experiences you've had or how great you are at what you're selling, okay? So nobody cares. I know it's really cool and you're unique and all this stuff, but like nobody cares. Got it? Like nobody cares. What they do care about is their own perspective, and you're listening to their own perspective. They really care about that. People love to be listened to. Just let go of your ego. You don't need it. You're not here for their love and affection. You're here to make a sale, which is a very different thing. You got to find their pain points, okay? So talk to them, listen to them, get them talking about whatever it is that you sell to figure out if the products or services that you have can fit what they need, okay? You know, their situation, their circumstances, what they're expecting, their knowledge about your products and services or lack thereof. I, as a lawyer, have a lot of products and services that I can sell that most of the time my clients don't even know about because, you know, nobody taught them business law, which is a little weird to me. Wouldn't you think that like they teach you a lot of business law in business school? Whatever. You need to figure out yourself if you have a product or service that really fits their needs or their desires. Once you figure out their pain points, you got to figure out, you know, why they need it, okay? They don't care about you. They care about them. They care about what the product does for them. So what are we selling to them? We're selling to them their future. Always remember that too. We're not selling a product or service. We're selling their future. Yes, in the future we might benefit from making a sale, but what we're really selling is their future. So you need to paint a picture for them and what I call the value gap.
What is the value gap, Jonathan?
That's a great question. The value gap is the delta, the difference between what happens if they purchase this product or service in the future and what happens if they do not purchase this product or service in the future. This gap is the value gap. So this is their perceived value. When you first talk to these people, their value gap is probably like here, right? So it's this delta. There's some value, but without talking to you, without understanding if they need it or, you know, how they're going to use it or all the problems in their lives that it'll solve for them and their families and their spouse and their kids and their legacy and their life and hitting their life dreams and goals and all of these things, they're not going to see this as a valuable gap. And your price has to fit in the value gap, because no sale happens until the value that they perceive is higher than the cost that you quote them. A sale takes place the minute that the perceived value is bigger than the actual cost that you're charging. How do you make the value gap wider? Your job is to widen the value gap, okay? So you need to explain to them, and a lot of this is explaining to them by asking them questions, okay? So ask questions. Remember, it's not about you. It's not about you. It's about them. Let's come up with an example. I think we need an example. I used to be a printer salesman. Believe it or not, I was the top in the nation for like a couple months running. So I talked to them about their pain points, like why do you need a printer? Do you actually need a printer or do you not? And then I would talk to them about the difference between if they buy the printer or if they don't buy the printer. If they do not buy the printer, let's say that they're in school, because most of them were, and they can't print anything. So what's going to happen then? Well, they're going to have to go to Kinko's or some other printing facility. What if they, kind of procrastinated on a paper? Have you ever procrastinated on a paper, Mr. Potential Customer? Well, yes, Jonathan, I do that all the time. Okay. Do you expect that that's going to happen again? Yeah, probably at some point in my, scholarly career. Okay. When that does happen, what are you going to do if Kinko's isn't open? So I can't print it out. That means I can't get it to the professor, and I get a failing grade. And if you get a failing grade, then what's going to happen? Well, my GPA would go down. Maybe I'd lose a scholarship that I had for this college. Well, what happens if you lose your scholarship? Well, then my parents are going to be pissed off at me and lose a bunch of money, and then I'll have to fork up the bill myself or drop out of college and get a job somewhere else, and I'll always feel bad about myself. And then you move it on, right? You can even go further. Well, what is that going to mean for meeting your future spouse if they're not married yet, Well, yeah, she probably wouldn't respect me as much because I dropped out of college, and I'd always be kind of regretting that. And then you got to explain to your children in 10 years how you dropped out of college, all just because you didn't buy this damn printer. Just buy the printer. Here's what happens if they do something. When you procrastinate, which you're going to do, then you just print it out, and it's okay. You can stay up until 4 a.m. writing the most awesome paper that you've ever written, and you can print it out, and you can take it to the professor at 6 a.m. in the morning. You see the gap? So to this person, he's going to regret all of these choices down here if he doesn't buy the printer. This could wreck his college scholarship. What's the value of the scholarship? Well, it's $20,000 over 4 years. The value of this printer is over $20,000. And that's when you tell them the cost. Once they see the value gap, because their perceived value is now $20,000 or $50,000 or whatever it is, it's priceless. To them, the value gap is priceless. So you can name your price given competitors and other things. The price of the printer, it's $95 or $295 or whatever it is. And then it sounds very reasonable. It is very reasonable. So then they're like, yeah, let me get the printer. Totally. If they ask questions, that's a good sign. Don't get defensive. They're just asking questions. They're interested. If they're interested, that's a wonderful thing. Answer their question. And don't lie. Okay? Be honest. As an Epson printer salesman, our inks were double the cost of, I think, Hewlett-Packard's inks. But our inks were higher quality. Here's a real chart about why it's higher quality, and it has less printing malfunctions, and the printing head doesn't get messed up. Answer their questions, answer their concerns. You got to understand, if there's no value gap, or if it's this tiny, then you're just going to try to make the sale by discounting your stuff too much to where you lose your margin and you don't make a profit on it. Because if you talk to them first off and you say, hey, I've got this great thing, and you tell them all about how great it is and how great you are and your expertise and blah, 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 and they don't care, remember, they don't care. They're not going to relate the value of that thing to their lives, so it doesn't mean anything to them. And then you're going to say, well, you're going to quote them a price. It's, $295. And they're going to be like, nah, I'm good. And then they're going to leave, and they're going to be like, don't call me. So you're going to lose the sale. What's the value gap for you, Mr. or Mrs. or Miss Listener? So how many sales can you go out and close that you wouldn't otherwise close had you not listened to this amazing video? Let's say you close 10 and your product or service is $500 a pop. That's going to give you $2,500 in value, and I could have maybe charged you a little bit of money, but I didn't because I'm nice and I want entrepreneurs to be super successful. So this took me forever to learn. It took me a long time to set aside my ego and move on. But that's what we all got to do. It's not about you. Find their pain points. Don't sell something that's not useful or beneficial in some way, even if that benefit is entertainment or comfort or whatever. Make the value gap. Bring the value gap to their attention. Make it priceless. Show them how it's basically priceless, and then quote your price. And then if you make the sale or don't, it's really up to them. Keep rocking, rock stars. Go entrepreneurs. Love you guys. Rock.